No, I don't like to do that.
Welcome to Dirty Tea Podcast. This is your girl V Savage in the building, and it has been a long time coming. I am so excited to start off with season 2 of Dirty Tea Podcast this year. And whoever did not make the talent show that we had in February to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, you missed out. It was a hell of a show. And I have Selina. She came to the show. Say
hello,
what up.
Hi.
Did you have fun or what? I know I did.
I did. I had an absolutely great time watching the singers and just watching even the comedians that went up. There was a lot of talent that was up there that night. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was definitely filled with all kinds of talent. We had rappers, singers, poets, comedians, and it was definitely a night to remember. We will be doing another one hopefully this summer, so listen out for that. Bros Doe will be letting us do a show in their grand opening. There was a lot of people that I had to turn down. We didn't have enough slots open, but those people will get a chance to showcase their talents and get their name out there at that time. So keep a listen. Also check out social media on Dirty Tea _podcast on Instagram. We're on OnlyFans. We're on Facebook, Snapchat. I'm not really on Snapchat too often, but I will be, posting updates when we find out the official date for the next show that we're doing, because the first one turned out so great. So today's episode, I'm just going to call it Homicide Hartford because it is crazy out here.
It is definitely the Wild Wild West.
It is a war zone. And I don't know if it's gonna be worse this year versus last year. Last year was pretty bad with 25 homicides in 2021. Do you predict it to
be worse?
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I definitely want to say it is progressively getting there, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as last year, especially due to the fact that Hartford police have done a good job of closing down a lot of the main roads with barriers so that we don't do what we did last year, which was making up about 6 lanes on on one road and completely barricading everyone. And I feel that the cops didn't really have the authority to do anything about it. There was no actual rules in place to even stop this type of activity because it was never seen. They were filling up the gas stations. They were filling up the streets. You couldn't get anywhere. For a hot second, it was exciting. But then when it went on for over 2 months or more, that's when stuff really started hitting the fan. But
in the car theft.
Oh, man.
It's ridiculous. Like, I can literally, when I was Ubering in the beginning of the year in like January, I'm like out Ubering and see cars flipped over from police chases and stuff. Like, you watch stuff on the news, but to see it firsthand is out of control.
Or definitely just walk out your house and see your neighbor's cars on bricks. That was sad, especially anyone who had an Infiniti.
Remember when we worked in Hartford Hospital and that one car was on bricks in the employee garage? I was like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
Where's security?
I don't understand how we don't hear anything outside of our house. Like, we hear everything, but they come in like ninjas and they take your tires and everything. Cadillac converters now. Oh, my jeez.
But it's crazy because, like, now even in your own backyard. Like, I had a birthday party for my daughter, and the cops pull up, like, a shooting happened at your house. We found gun casings by your freaking garbage can. I'm like, now it's, you know, you hear gunshots at night almost nightly, but to know it's in your backyard is like a whole different story. Like, I've lived in Hartford majority of my life and never have come this close to like something like that. So
definitely.
And a lot of it is not even Hartford residents, and they're giving us a bad rep when it's people from outside of Hartford doing their bullshit on our turf.
I definitely think it has a lot to do with just this generation of young adults or
yes,
or late teenagers. I mean, no one knows how to fight anymore. Nobody knows how to head up. I mean, you talk shit, and I can curse, right?
Yeah.
People talk shit, and no one knows how to put their fist up. To me, there's a whole bunch of pussies running around who the first thing they'll do is pull a gun rather than to do a head up.
Right.
And I think this generation is super soft, super sensitive, and no one knows how to fight. And I think that's why we have so many people just dying left and right and for nothing. These people are, the person who does the murder, little kids going to jail for the rest of their life to prove to whom.
Who are you proving yourself to?
I mean, I did hear
like
from one time my husband say that one of his younger coworkers were stating, like, I'm 21. If I murder somebody right now, I'll be out in time to still enjoy the rest of my life. So, I mean, these kids don't have any real remorse for what they're doing. They plan it out, and they're like, what am I going to get? Like 20 years, 15, 20? I'll be out in time to still enjoy the rest. So there's no actual consequences.
Right. And I think a lot of it is tied into stuff that happened last year. It's a lot of retaliation going on right now. And, you know, people are still going by the street code and not saying stuff that they're seeing. But at the end of the day, like, where does that put you if one of your loved ones gets hurt? As an innocent bystander, you're going to wish that you said something. And we will be doing an episode on snitching. But we're going to have, when we do that episode, a couple people that lived in the streets, like really lived that street life, and will give us their take on that later on in the month. But so that'll be interesting to tie that into this episode and see how people feel about it. And because you can't get your news anymore online. When I was looking up some stuff, they were literally lying about some of the shootings. Like that poor girl that got shot in her apartment on Evergreen in Hartford earlier this year. I want to say that was in February. And she was a recent graduate from Windsor High, as along with another male Windsor High student who got shot, I think, like a week prior to her.
Good Lord.
But that tied into a different murder. So that, I believe, from what I heard on the streets, is a retaliation. They shot her girlfriend and killed her.
I did hear about that.
In that home invasion. But when I read online, it was saying it was a domestic shooting, and that was complete bullshit. And you're tarnishing her name, one, because it was not a domestic. You're tarnishing the woman who was with her and was innocent of everything and just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I feel bad for these families that they're mourning over essentially their kids. To me, fuck that. I don't care if you're older than 21 or you just turned 21. You're still a child to me, because even though you can legally drink or whatever, you're legally an adult. They're all childlike in maturity. So
everybody trying to be a gangster, but they don't even know how to be.
They don't, because they don't have the foundation of people who used to be in the streets back in the day. Like, I know when, you know, gangs were heavy in the 90s, the violence was way worse than it is now. But
I remember having to watch what colors I wore to school.
Right.
And they'd be like, you can't wear that to school. I remember my first, I went to fourth grade here in Hartford. And I remember I had a pair of yellow like jean bell bottoms that my mom had got me from Brooklyn, and I thought they was so cool. And I got to school, they was like, "You a Latin queen?" I'm like, "I'm in 4th grade." Like, who the fuck is a Latin queen? I'm a little girl. What is it?
But they recruit early though.
Yeah,
let me tell you,
you know. But back then, it had a lot to do also with the drugs that were in our city, and a lot of these kids got left without any parents because most of their parents were drug addicts. So most of these gangs were formed in order to take care of one another,
right?
And there was a sense of respect, and obviously that went to another level once you had to start retaliating and gun violence. But there was still a sense of respect. If the main person said you couldn't do anything, then guess what? You couldn't do anything.
Right.
And I think things right now, everybody's for self now. So there is no real reason why people are doing what they're doing other than for money or drugs or just to say that this is your block.
Right. It's crazy out here. I mean, like, you can't. Before, I used to feel like, because I lived in New Haven, I lived in Hartford, there's always been a battle between the two places. And right now, I don't know if it's true, but, they're saying that as of, the end of March, there was 0 murders in New Haven. I don't know if I believe that, because when I lived in New Haven, I used to see that shit on a daily basis. And Yale New Haven has so much money that they would pay people off to keep it out of, the news and stuff. So you would sit there like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch the news and see what the hell just happened on my street. It would never pop up. Never.
No.
They even so much as, when I used to Uber, I had a nurse that worked for Yale New Haven, and she switched to Hartford Hospital because of that. They made her lie on a death certificate.
Oh my jeez.
The time, so that Hartford would have the first murder of the year.
Wow.
And I can't remember what year that was, but to hear stuff like that, you think you see stuff like that in movies and whatever, and you think it's just, for the movie, but to be honest, this stuff's really happening. Like, people are really paying people off. It makes you think the bigger
picture.
Right.
If that's happening in little cities over that.
Right.
I mean, what else we're going through right now that is, just straight lies that they're giving, the people.
Right.
It's sad. It's sad to see everything's a manipulation.
But it's kind of also sad that we have this Hartford Homicide logo that kind of glorifies it, You see it everywhere. There's a show called Homicide Hartford. There's clothing out that has the Hartford Homicide Hartford logo on it. And it's just glorifying, like, as if this is some gangsta town, but really it's people from like Bloomfield and Windsor that come and do whatever bullshit that they're trying to pretend like they're from the streets when they're not. They're from the suburbs and they're too young to even go to freaking gun ranges and learn how to properly shoot. I remember back in the day when we were growing up, shootings happened. It was worse, but it wasn't as many innocent people getting killed. Like, I feel like there was more of a respect for community, and you weren't seeing like babies getting shot and stuff.
That was the one summer that just passed, correct?
Yeah, that was it. A 3-year-old that got killed 2021 in the summer. Yep. And that's when it really started like popping off out here. But
the guns are so easily rattled. I can't even say the word all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it's so easy to get a gun nowadays.
The Tito's will do that to you.
Yeah, more of a Henny girl, but no, definitely, it's so available to get. I mean, everyone can get a gun so easy. I don't even know. I mean, where everyone's getting this shit, but I mean, it's coming from out of state. Those are the ghost guns. It's so
Oh, I heard about the ghost guns. There's people out here selling them for cheap too, like $500, untraceable.
Yeah, actually, they just got these two Dominican guys recently from Hartford who were caught with the biggest seize they ever did of fentanyl anywhere in Connecticut. They were trafficking, and they found an obscene amount of ghost guns in their home as well, including all the drugs that were found as well.
I wonder if that was connected to the SSMA fentanyl case.
That was sad. That happened right outside my house as well. But supposedly it was an uncle who just had him stashing stuff for him, and he was getting into it and bringing it to school, thinking it was cool.
Oh, that's what happened.
So uncle was,
and this is 7th graders, people.
Yes,
not even grown adults, not even like teenager yet.
These kids are doing what they see, you know? It's so easy for them to behave in the way that they're seeing. I mean, if they were growing up around a whole bunch of, you know, people who are trying to be different and be ambitious and, you know, be a singer, be a rapper, be this, you know, be an attorney, be a police officer, then that's what kind of child you'd probably get out of it. Not all the time, but when that's all that you're infusing into your children, it's probably what they're going to get out. But if you're constantly around violence, is all you know.
Right.
You know, the drinking, the drugging, everything that comes with it. You know, it's so easy for them to think this is normal behavior.
Right. Especially if one or the other parent is in the streets take them out, and then they're looking for gangs or the wrong crowd to have some sort of family dynamic.
And the respect is what they're looking for. I don't know from whom, but
yeah, that's
the respect,
not real,
the fear that people will fear you. You
not
know,
real respect, people. Respect yourself first. But I'm just hoping it gets better. It's to the point where
you're definitely in the thick of it.
I'm in the brunt of it in the North End, but I know the South End is having its problems too. But the North End is just like out of control at this point. And it's only going to get worse as the summer goes on. You just don't know what to do with yourself anymore. And it's to the point where it's like, I could have bought a gun off the street, but at the same time, I want to do it legit, because at the end of the day, if I shoot my shit, I'm shooting my shit.
Well, I mean, there's so many laws right now that, I mean, you're still going to get fucked over even if you are a registered gun license, you know, gun owner, because, you know, you can still get in trouble if you shoot someone coming into your house. Because they'll be like, if you didn't physically get attacked, then what was the reason why you shot this person? You can still go to jail.
Well, I'll take that jail time over that bullet in my head any day of the week.
I'll shoot you in the toe quick. You gonna fall.
Yeah. I mean, at these days, they have shot spotters everywhere. But people are using like fireworks to throw them off. And yeah, so
I never heard that.
Oh yeah. So now it's like,
and that's why I keep hearing fireworks. Is that
fireworks
4th of July?
all the time. It'll be like August or it'll be October. You're hearing fireworks and I'm like, how the fuck do they still have fireworks? How they didn't run out yet? And then somebody brought it up. Oh, they're throwing off the shot spotters. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes so much sense now.
You could hear like maybe like a cherry bomb go off. You hear the like the little sprinkle of, and then all of a sudden you hear real gunshots, and then it's like, what the fuck is this, a 4th of July shooting or what's happening? But then we figured out, oh, that's what they're doing. And I've seen the cameras. The police have cameras of every square inch of Hartford. Oh wow, pretty much.
I know they have it all over downtown.
With facial recognition.
Wow.
And they're catching people, but they should be patrolling. They're not. Yeah. They're just as scared as everybody else.
They're scared of getting in trouble for everything as well. I mean, you got to watch out that you're not racially profiling people in a city that's predominantly, you know, brown and black. Like, they're scared of everything. They're getting slapped in the wrist for everything. And although there's good reason for it, because police have taken advantage of their power, this is the consequence behind it. A world that is running rampage. And that's basically what it is.
Right. So, and they're seizing guns left and right. I mean, even The last statistic that we looked up, they had 51 guns seized already this year, and that was just, a couple months ago. So who knows how many since then. So, but you know what? At the same time, it does nothing. They're just going to replace it. And at this point, who are they seizing guns from? It could be just regular schmegular people that are just trying to protect themselves too. So you can't really believe anything that you read anymore.
Do we know if it's still a law that it's still okay to have a shotgun in your home without it being licensed? Or
I believe so. 18 and over, I believe, can carry a shotgun, but
can't carry it, but can keep
in
one
their
in
household.
The house.
Yeah,
I believe it's that
so.
and a handgun. You don't have to have registered. That you can keep
handgun. I'm pretty sure you do.
I believe it's one.
We'll have to look that up for the next episode.
I definitely, yeah. What's allowed and what is not,
right? Because that's important to know your rights.
Know your rights. So we do have the right to bear arms, but
right.
Things have changed.
But I mean, they're already like changing in certain states. I know, like Texas, you don't need to register anymore. Anybody can buy a gun out there.
Yes, you can.
And they're, quickly making that in other states too, which is good and bad, because that means, like you said, anybody can get a gun at any time. But with the way stuff is going on right now, you got to be able to protect your family. So I wish we would take that here to some extent. There has to be some sort of regulation with that. So we'll see what happens in the future, but it'll be better once we have dispensaries open, I think.
Calm the fuck down, everybody.
Calm the fuck down. Take yourself an edible or smoke a spliff and fucking go to sleep. Eat your kids' snacks and go to sleep.
For real.
Because nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for your nonsense. And
calm the fuck down, everybody. Like, seriously, it is not that serious. Can we? It's just annoying to be living in a town in a city that I really love, that I grew up in, and I really do. And it's not as. I know we say homicide Hartford, and it's the wild, wild west, and I mean, I live in it, so I don't. It's not horrible, as bad as everyone makes it seem, but I guess at night.
As long as you bring yourself in the house. And not even, because a lot of these shootings have been happening during the day.
Yeah. But
there was that guy that got...
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean...
But then the South End, we had the kid who came out the barbershop who got shot.
But that was during the day, too.
And that was during the day, yeah.
And then there was a shootout on Bonner where they had a standoff with somebody who... that was the person who shot the guy at the barbershop. They had a standoff. I want to say it was Bond Street, not Bonner. Bond Street. They had and the cops took him out. But it's crazy. But like you said, for the most part, if you're not in the streets, you go to your job, you go home, you stick to your family life.
And I watch it on the news.
You don't have to worry too much about it, but I do that too. And like I said, they're shooting right in my backyard. Yeah. So you still gotta be conscious of
vigilant. Yeah.
Who's in your neighborhood, what cars are parked on your street. It's getting to the part the point where it's like,
I don't recognize that car.
Like I'm literally like scanning my street. Oh, that car doesn't belong there. Like, whose car is that? Like, because you want to just, if some shit does go down, you want to be able to know, okay, well, this is unusual. That person is normally not here.
And that's another thing, which again, for next segment on no snitching, like what is considered snitching and not snitching. People need to take care of their neighborhoods. And I think people are so terrified to protect their neighborhood that they think by saying anything, I know I grew up like that. Cuban people, we do not talk about anything. I remember seeing someone get murdered one time I was young. I'm like, call the police. I was like, are you fucking nuts? Close that goddamn door. Like, you don't mind your business. You mind your, and it felt so bad because I seen it and there's nothing you could do about it, you know, and just had to watch it go down and mind your business because you didn't want it to be you.
Right.
And it's sad, you know.
I feel like people have an obligation to protect their home, and you're not protecting your home when you see something and you're not saying nothing, because that doesn't mean it's gonna stop. That doesn't mean
it just means it's away from you. And
yeah,
I mean, sometimes that's better than, I guess, saying anything. I guess you have to protect your own. We become very selfish people in this world. Just take care of our own.
Yeah, but I mean, the way if I knew something that happened with what happened at my house, fuck that. I would have told them, like, nah, find this motherfucker.
You see that guy right there?
Or, I mean, shit, if I was packing at home and I seen some shit, so I'm taking care of it my damn self. Like, get the fuck out of my fucking yard. Like, what? But when I was in New Haven, it was crazy because there was people trying to break in my home.
No way.
There was people shooting in the yard next to me and then banging on my door trying to pay me to hide in my apartment. Like, it was crazy out there. So I'll take Hartford any day of the week because, I mean, yeah, it's hard to sleep sometimes when you hear it, but at least you know it's away from me. It's, you know, it'll get resolved one way or another because they have been catching these people. But in New Haven, it was out of control. There was so many innocent people dying because of drive-bys. They love doing drive-bys out there. Versus out here, they'll just walk right up to you and shoot you in broad daylight. They don't give a fuck. They do not care. But yeah, how do we keep our families safe? That's the real question.
It starts with us parents and, you know, the kids we're raising, and show them something new. And hope to God that it takes, and we get a better generation of nicer people out here in the world who, you know, are more loving and more compassionate to their fellow man. But that is very far from what we're seeing every day on the streets. So,
and it's like, keep tabs on your kids too. I don't care if they're 21 years old. You know these motherfuckers ain't living on their own. They're living with their parents and doing this bullshit. So it's like,
it's easy to do when you don't got to pay no bills.
Right.
You just buy your little gun.
Right.
Sleep in your mama's house and hide.
Right.
When
and
you
hide.
do what you do.
Yeah. We're not by any means blaming this on parents.
No.
We're just saying that it would help if you keep tabs on your older children as well as the younger children, because
a lot of times too is the parents they're pushing them out the house way too young and telling them, well, you already 18, get the hell out, figure it out. You know, when your back is pressed against the wall, a lot of people are just gonna do what they have to do.
That's
you know,
true too.
These young kids will do a robbery, they will sell drugs. It is what it is. You got to survive. They're hungry.
Oh my God, the Cartier robberies, like, it's glasses, people. Calm the fuck down.
Are they still doing that?
Shit.
Oh my God, how many robberies that we used to have? In our eye, they used to come in like a team in our eye shop.
I'm at Lenses Only in Bloomfield now, and I don't know. I can't even tell you how many stolen frames come through there. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But there's no, like, regulation for that, unfortunately, in the eyewear business. Like, you can't really tell by the tag where it came from. And that definitely needs to change. But at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do? You know? So we just take that Monday.
Got the lenses done. They did what they had to do to get it. They ain't steal for me.
They ain't steal for me. They know better. Fuck that.
Shit. You better hear about the Harvey and Lewis girls. Who's famous for that shit. I knock you out. You don't steal from me, bro. I feel like he's taking money out my pocket.
Hell no.
They love them gazelles.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy, and hopefully things get better. And I wish there was more people from the streets in the Hartford PD. I think that would make a world of a difference. But unfortunately, they're so fucking profile racialing these candidates. And I've known so many friends that have tried to become Hartford PD, and they're just like, one person, Spanish chick, she's from the hood. She did everything she needed to do to get through the academy, and she passed the academy, became a Hartford PD, and they still found a way for some loophole on a hearing aid that she had to make her lose her job, to lay her off. After she passed everything, graduated, she wasn't even a year in, because she fought to the death through that whole process about, she had a surgery done on her ear to have like a hearing aid implant, and they used that as an excuse to get her out.
Wow.
Among other, minorities in Hartford that have tried, and they had a bullshit excuse that could have been fought through court, but most of these people don't fight for it, and they should, because those are going to be ultimately the people that do clean up the streets, because
Correct.
People are going to be willing to speak to them.
And they're gonna know who's really aggressive, who's bullshit, and who's not bullshit. And it's less scary to send a lion into the jungle if you're from that jungle.
Exactly.
And, yeah. So I mean, it's scary when I see these cops that are not from a Hartford area, who have no idea what the city really looks like,
right,
or suburbed, and everything scares the shit out of them, and they're hurting the kids that probably they have nothing to do with anything, and then you create some type of PTSD in them, and you become violent yourself eventually, because you're like, they don't give a fuck about me. I didn't do anything at that time, and now I am, because who gives a shit? I'm still gonna be asked to do things that I don't, had nothing to do with me.
And now those suburb police officers are so stressed out because they are not built like the people from
we
Hartford.
Ain't gonna have no cops.
That they go home and have domestics with their spouses. The domestic rate is crazy for police out here.
Crazy.
And the suicide rate is kind of shocking too, but they don't talk about that. They don't have that public. Because of, and it's not even stress of the job, it's stress of their coworkers, because there's a lot of, from what I've been told from different detectives that were in the Hartford area, there's a lot of bullying within the station from their own coworkers.
I'm sure.
So and something's got to change.
Really does. It's going to take everybody to do the changing.
Yep. Everybody has an obligation to pitch in to make our streets safe. That's all I have to say. So, once again, before we end this session, I just want to let everybody know, if you want to be a guest on this show, it is completely free. You can sign up on my calendar in my bio of my Facebook and my Instagram, dirtyt_podcast. And we'd love to have you. And also listen out for when Bros Doe does their new grand opening in the new location. We'll be doing another talent show of some sorts there. And so just listen out. We'll have postings going up on all social media platforms. Also, check out Optics and Fashion by KV.com, who sponsors Dirty Tea Podcast. And anything else you want to add, Selena, before we go?
No, it was nice. It was nice talking with everyone. I was talking with you and everyone listening.
All right, guys. Have a great summer. We'll see you next Sunday.
See ya.